Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. Max Verstappen is gearing up for another intense weekend at Spa-Francorchamps, a circuit he has repeatedly named as one of his favorites on the Formula One calendar. But this year, the stakes are higher, and the context far more complex. Despite his personal affection for the Belgian track, Verstappen arrives not just with expectations of performance, but with a clear message: Red Bull needs to be perfect. In a recent interview, the 4-time world champion emphasized the demanding nature of Spa, a track notorious for its fast corners, unpredictable weather, and high-speed challenges. However, his focus quickly shifted to the internal state of the team. Verstappen didn't shy away from expressing the urgent need for Red Bull and himself to deliver a flawless weekend. With the team facing mounting pressure and inconsistent results in 2025, perfection is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. One of the biggest changes this weekend will be the absence of Christian Horner, the longtime Red Bull team principal. After more than 2 decades at the helm, Horner has officially stepped down, a move that comes amid growing tensions and reported internal dissatisfaction. Taking his place is Lohan Mekies, who now assumes control during one of the most sensitive moments in the team's recent history. Verstappen, in particular, has been vocal about the need for change, and according to German media, was directly involved in pushing for internal restructuring. Despite having a contract with Red Bull that runs through 2028, Verstappen's future is anything but certain. Speculation about a potential move to Mercedes in 2026 continues to gain traction, especially given the RB21's underwhelming performance so far this season. The car has lacked consistency, pace, and the kind of dominance Red Bull has grown accustomed to in recent years. That backdrop has fueled rumors that Verstappen's loyalty is conditional, and the removal of Horner may only be the beginning of broader changes demanded by the Dutch driver. Now, with Mekies at the helm, Verstappen says he's eager to begin this new chapter. But his expectations are crystal clear: no more errors, no more excuses. The team must execute flawlessly from the start of the weekend, particularly important given the sprint format of the Belgian Grand Prix. With only one free practice session before qualifying for the sprint race, there is virtually no room for mistakes or misjudgments. Verstappen stressed the importance of immediate cohesion within the team. Every setup adjustment must be precise. Every strategic decision must be calculated. The car must come out of the garage ready to compete from the very first lap. In his own words, perfection must begin now. Even under immense pressure, Verstappen remains confident. He highlighted the support of Belgian fans as a source of motivation and made it clear that he still believes in Red Bull's ability to turn the season around. But belief alone won't be enough. Spa will be the first true test of this new leadership dynamic, and everyone in the paddock will be watching closely. With all of this in mind, one critical question remains: is Verstappen right to demand this level of performance at this point in the season? Or would it be wiser to shift focus toward 2026 and begin preparing for the regulatory changes that could reset the playing field entirely? Whatever your view, one thing is certain: the pressure on Red Bull has never been higher, and Verstappen is not backing down. Whether this push for perfection leads to redemption or further frustration will depend on what unfolds over the next few race weekends. But if there's one place where drama is guaranteed, it's Spa. Red Bull arrives at the Belgian Grand Prix with a clear objective: to react and recover in the 2025 Formula One season. According to The Telegraph, the Austrian team rushed to complete a brand new front wing that will debut this weekend at Spa-Francorchamps. Despite the challenges of introducing such a significant update during a sprint weekend, with only one free practice session available, the team has decided to push forward, underlining the level of urgency they're facing. Weather forecasts indicate rain across all 3 days in Belgium, making track time even more limited. Still, Red Bull chose to proceed, hoping this change can restore some balance and grip to the RB21, a car that has, so far, struggled to match the performance of its rivals. The goal is to give Max Verstappen a more competitive tool to fight back, especially against McLaren, the team currently dominating the championship. Red Bull's 2025 campaign has been marred by technical issues that trace back to the conception of the RB21. The car has inherited several flaws from its predecessor, the RB20, and attempts to fix them through incremental updates in races such as Japan, Miami, and Austria have failed to bring consistent results. Many of these updates have focused on tailoring the car to Verstappen's unique driving style, but structural problems, particularly in aerodynamics and cornering balance, remain unresolved. Following this front-wing debut in Belgium, Red Bull has already planned another package of upgrades for the Hungarian Grand Prix, the last race before the summer break. These back-to-back updates are an attempt to finish the first half of the season with momentum. However, several analysts argue that Red Bull is merely patching a fundamentally flawed concept, and that no quick fix will truly resolve the core issues. Beyond technical challenges, the Belgian Grand Prix will also mark a historic and turbulent shift in the team's management. For the first time since Red Bull entered Formula One, Christian Horner will not be present as team principal. After a long and controversial period of internal conflict, Horner has been officially removed, and Lohan Mekies, formerly of W Racing, has stepped in as his replacement. While the leadership change brings some uncertainty, it may also signal a fresh start in a different direction in team strategy and morale. All of this unfolds under immense pressure, not only on the track, but also off it. Max Verstappen, the team star and three-time world champion, is now rumored to be in advanced talks with Mercedes. Some sources claim the deal is close to being finalized. Red Bull knows that in order to convince Verstappen to stay, not just for 2025, but also for the major regulation changes coming in 2026, they need to demonstrate they can still provide a championship-winning car. The question now is whether these updates, starting with the new front wing in Spa and followed by further modifications in Hungary, will be enough to close the gap to McLaren and return Red Bull to winning form. The second half of the season is rapidly approaching, and with it, the pressure to deliver meaningful results only grows. So far, Verstappen's exceptional skill has managed to mask some of the car's weaknesses, but even he has admitted that catching up this season may not be realistic. In some circuits, where aerodynamic efficiency is less critical, the RB21 might show glimpses of competitiveness. But for now, the sense in the paddock is that Red Bull's era of dominance is fading. Ferrari recently tested what could be their biggest gamble yet in the 2025 Formula One season, a brand new rear suspension system. The test took place at Mugello, one of Ferrari's traditional testing circuits, and came right after the team's encouraging upgrade to the car's floor during the Austrian Grand Prix. That particular update delivered a performance gain of approximately 1/10 of a second per lap, enough to raise hopes that the SF25 might finally be on the right development path. The plan now is to debut this new rear suspension at the upcoming Belgian Grand Prix. However, according to reports from Motorsport Italia, the results were far from ideal. The new suspension has yet to produce the expected improvements, and the problem, as pointed out by technical analysts, lies not in the component itself, but in the entire setup philosophy of the SF25. Like the car as a whole, this upgrade is extremely sensitive to fine-tuning. Unless the setup is close to perfect, the gains remain locked away. It's a trait that has followed Ferrari all season, a car with visible potential, but one that constantly walks a tightrope between performance and underperformance. Since the start of the year, Ferrari has reiterated that the car has speed, at least on paper. But extracting that speed requires a narrow operating window, where every mechanical and aerodynamic setting must be dialed in with precision. The latest suspension change is no different. It appears that unless the SF25 is set up with near-perfect balance, any potential benefits are neutralized. The car reacts poorly to minor changes in track temperature, fuel load, or tire condition, making it a headache for the engineers and a gamble for the drivers. This inconsistency has defined Ferrari's 2025 season. So far, their best finish has been a solitary second place at the Monaco Grand Prix, a result that falls well short of expectations, especially for a team that entered the championship aiming for victories and even a potential title challenge. The frustration is mounting, and the feeling in the paddock is that Ferrari might be falling into the same trap that plagued them in previous seasons, chasing solutions that never quite deliver under pressure. Interestingly, one of the drivers who tested the new setup at Mugello was Lewis Hamilton. According to early feedback, Hamilton reported minimal difference between the previous version and this updated suspension system. His comments added a layer of skepticism within the team, as many had hoped the new rear setup would be a game-changer. Instead, the mixed reaction has split the camp. Some engineers remain hopeful, believing the update needs more refinement, while others are beginning to question whether this is yet another dead end. Despite the uncertainty, Ferrari is going ahead with the plan to introduce the new rear suspension at Spa. However, the challenge is significant. With the Belgian Grand Prix being a sprint weekend, the team will only have one free practice session to evaluate the car's behavior and make adjustments. Add to that the unpredictable weather at Spa, with rain forecasted throughout the weekend, and it becomes clear that Ferrari is rolling the dice. At this point in the season, every race is an opportunity or a risk. Ferrari is trying to unlock the full potential of a car that has so far underdelivered. But with only marginal improvements showing up on track, one must wonder whether it's worth continuing to chase performance in a package that's this fragile. There are those who argue that the team should already be focusing its efforts entirely on the 2026 car, especially considering the upcoming regulation overhaul. Others still hold out hope that the SF25 can find stability and become a podium contender in the remaining races.